A good leader at the Co-op needs to be prepared to listen. We're going through a lot of change at the moment, and change is sometimes uncomfortable for people. Not everybody enjoys change, and a good leader needs to be able to take people through that change.
And if people can't have an honest, open exchange of views, then we are stunted by our own lack of communication, really. So a healthy team for me is the one that can sit down and have that open exchange of views in a safe environment, knowing that, you know, once the debate has been had, we'll reach a much better answer for the business as a whole.
Funeral directors probably the least people that, you know, enjoy embracing change. There's a joke that says, how many funeral directors does it take to change a light bulb? And the answer is, change, change. We don't like change.
I think you can find leadership in lots of different individuals and people, and sometimes in places that are maybe surprising or quite unique. So in its own way, I found with recent events, someone like Ariana Grande, the leadership that she's shown in absolute adversity. Somebody who perhaps we would never look at as being a poster girl for leadership, but actually in her own style and her own way has shown that in spades over the last weeks and months.
People who can see straight to the heart of you and see what it is that really matters to you, straight through the veneer. That takes care, time, investment and intelligence, and that really, I think that really means a great deal.
So my own inspiration, I think, goes back to when I was a young man. My father left school at the age of 14 to look after his mother and the 6 siblings underneath him. He became the breadwinner, and he always had it in mind that I could do better than him. Because his education was cut short at an early stage. So I think that was probably my first thing about having some ambition to do something better.
I think the ways of being, it's not a script. I think what we've got to understand is about who we should be, and it's about who we are. And sometimes we can display them all, and sometimes, you know, we might just fall down a little bit, but we're only human. And I think it's great to have them there as a reference point to actually say, this is what we're about as an organisation.
Compared to all of the organisations I've worked for in my career, absolutely genuinely, there are a set of values that fit spot on with the culture that we're trying to deliver.
So it does help give focus, being yourself always. You know, there's no point being anybody else because you'll fall down.
It means that we share a common understanding across the whole of the business, regardless of what position you have within it.
So I think that was the key thing for me the first 90 days. Instead of rushing into everything headlong, thinking, I've got this massive list of tasks to do, far more important to just take stock and understand the wider picture first.
And they're going to want to know a little bit more about you. They're going to be a little bit nervous, so you have to set, you know, your style out and your leadership style out to them so they understand exactly what it is that you want from them.
I probably would have spent more time getting to know them as individuals. I was pretty task focused, and we've got to get results as a business. We've got to look after the client, we've got to deliver our results, but you do that through people. And back then, I probably spent more time on the task than on the people.
So I would say to anybody taking on a new leadership role is don't burst in there straight away and start thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Take your time. Plan that 90 days and review it as well, and make sure that you're comfortable with what you've done.
Hold true to the vision, but then spend time with our people before you form the exact way in which you're going to work and operate, because they have the answers. By asking the right questions, things will unfold in front of you that will take us forward much more effectively and speedily than otherwise would be the case.
You should have a plan of where you're going and what you're doing for any given day, week, month. You should know what's in your diary, but you should be flexible enough to be able to change direction when something lands on the desk where somebody needs your support.
I think it needs a sense of humour as well, and I think we tend to forget that. People don't realise that actually, although we work in funerals, we are allowed, you know, to enjoy what we do and have a laugh and, you know, make sure that, you know, we're all communicating well. And I think a sense of humour is really important, but I think as well self-awareness, being aware as a leader of your impact on others and what you say and what you do.